Yeah. This cool stuff. We have some of the coolest donations you have ever seen. I think my assistant over there is going to show one. We got a donation from Cindy on a Don Solly painting. So that's the one. Lori just donated this beautiful sketch of an elk this morning. We've got some signed autographed books, thanks to Sue. And the big painting there is from Hannah Holt. And so and that's only some of it. I mean, some of the other clubs donated 3-night stay at a resort in Barbados. Yeah, I think Jen's all over that. And then a handmade quilt, ceramics, jewelry, much more. So the second C is cool stuff. Come and get yourself some stuff and donate to the cause. What's the third C, Jen?
The C is raise your hand if you have tickets to go to the Area 8 dinner. You want to go to the Area 8 dinner, but don't have tickets yet. Okay, awesome. So let's talk about community. For those of you that are new members, especially, this is such a great opportunity, not only to meet other members in our club, but there are 5 clubs in Area 8, Evergreen, Conifer, Peak to Peak, Mountain Hills. You need to come and meet members from other clubs as well. What a great opportunity to meet people. A great cause, right? It's going to be so much fun. We have our Tammy Fennell, the Rotary District Governor, is attending. Executive Director for Imagination Library is going to be there. And rumor has it, a celebrity is going to be making an appearance that night. You do not want to miss it. There's so much fun. The silent auction is going to be amazing. Do not miss this opportunity. Okay. We've talked about Imagination Library. We've talked about Dolly. Raise your hand if you know a Dolly Parton song.
Excellent.
Right? Right? Okay, today is your lucky day. Because if you raise your hand and I select you, and you sing a few bars or rap a few bars of a Dolly Parton song, and the whole group is going to join in with you so you're not stuck singing alone, you get 2 free tickets to the Area 8 dinner.
Show that.
Anybody? Anybody lined up?
Really bad singer, so
Put the mic up.
oh. I'm a really bad singer. I'm trying to think just because I want to win the tickets. Julie.
Jolie.
Now she doesn't want to be lined up. We created them.
2 tickets to Jennifer. Yeah.
I saw Scott White's name.
Working 9 to 5.
And let's not forget the people on Zoom. Chuck, are you in for singing a Dolly song? Perhaps not. Wow, you kicked him off the screen. All right, Chuck. I thought you liked one.
Anybody else? We got 2 more tickets. Anybody else have a Dolly song? Anyone know another Dolly song? Yes. There you go, Lord. All right. In the street. Yeah.
Come on.
Thank you. 6 more people for Area 8 dinner. Yay.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. I think it's gonna be a great time. Did you say when and where? It's at
April
what?
24th, wild game, 5:30 to 8:30.
Yeah.
April 24th, 5:30 to 8:30, wild game. Be there. The square.
All right. Thanks, guys. I love your skits. All righty, next we have some new member inductions. All right, Jen.
So Zach and Diane and your mentors, please come up. We're gonna induct 2 new members.
Everybody's trying to avoid the projector.
I'm super excited, you guys. We have 2 new members that we are inducting today. I know you probably get sick of me reading this speech, but it's a great reminder of what we are about and why we're here. So just think of this as another reminder for what we are doing to serve. So it is our pleasure with Diane and Zach Newland here. We are going to induct them. So Diane and Zach, it is a great pleasure on behalf of the Board of Directors and members of the Rotary Club of Evergreen to welcome you as a member. We welcome you not only for the fine fellowship we will share, but also for your dedication to the community. Rotary is not a political organization, but all Rotarians are vitally concerned with everything pertaining to good citizenship and the election of good men and women to public office. Rotary is not a charitable organization, yet its activities exemplify the charity and the sacrifices that one should expect from people who believe that they have a responsibility in serving others. Rotary is not a religious organization, but is built on those eternal principles that have served the moral compass for people throughout the ages. Rotary is an organization of business and professional people pledged to uphold the highest professional standards. Rotarians believe that worldwide fellowship and international peace can be achieved when people unite under the banner of service. Zach and Diane, you have been chosen for membership in the Rotary Club of Evergreen because your fellow members believe in you, in the community you represent, the character and service of this club. We accept you as members and welcome you to the commitment. Okay, thank you to Brenda and Kay who have stepped up to be mentors for these 2. Thank you. I'm going to give the microphone to each one of them and let them give a short little elevator speech on who they are and why they're here.
Ladies first.
Oh. I've lived in Evergreen with my husband for more than 30 years, raised 1 child here. Even when she was a teenager, she thought that was pretty cool. If I had done that right. So, and know many of the people in this room, but was certainly introduced to Rotary by Hilla Perkins, who's been my dearest friend for many, many years. So I worked professionally in the land conservation world for many years, over 20 years. Was deputy director of Great Outdoors Colorado back in the day, and then made a huge midlife, or well, later than that, career shift into ministry with a small n, as in I was working at a group of funeral homes in Metro Denver and founded what is called to this day the Celebrant program. So I professionally officiate ceremonies. Most recently, I am a newly published author. So thank you for welcoming me.
Hi, I'm Zach Newland. I am still actively raising 2 children. Evergreen, 4-year-old and a 4-month-old. I have a local practice here in Evergreen. I practice real estate law as well as a lot of federal matters, which are really dorky, we won't get into here. Would really look forward to getting involved. Was brought to Rotary through a number of friends who are members and look forward to getting to know everyone and getting to serve. Thank you.
Thank you. Don't forget that like everything
All right. Okay, now we are ready for general announcements, and I'm gonna go to Zoom first to see, does anyone have any general announcements on Zoom? And Chuck, if you go away on that one, I'm gonna really be.
I don't have anything.
All right, anybody else have any general announcements? Come on up. Please state your name so that Jen, who is scribed today, knows who's talking.
Thank you. Jack Stapleton, I live through your website, and particularly Diane and Zach. There's a lot of faces here, and by the next time we meet, since we're dark next week, so when we meet in 2 weeks, you have to be able to name every face you see. In order to do that, I have just put up the most recent pictorial directory of the club. Go out to our website, go to members option. If you have not logged in, you will not be able to see it. It's not open to the public, but it has pictures of about 95% of our members. The other 5% we're still working on. So for all of our new members, if you haven't logged in, please do so. Go over to your profile, update it, and get your picture in there. Thank you.
Perfect. I'll head that way. Hi, Lori Romberg, Rotary Wildfire Ready. We will be, we've got a big couple of days. We're gonna be at the Home and Garden Show this weekend. Please stop by, see what we do. And if you're really jazzed by that, we have our first meeting on Tuesday, 4 o'clock, Zoom. The Zoom link is on the calendar of the website. Jack just confirmed that with me yesterday. And if that doesn't work, give me a call or email me and I will send you out the link directly. But I would love to have you all come and see what we do.
Good morning, Evergreen Rotary, Bruce Anderson. 2 weeks from today, we're having our very first Boogie at the Barn event. It's going to be at the Wild Game. We've got a great band called Home Slice, and our beneficiary for this event is going to be Echo. So come on out, have a great time, dance, and we'll see you there.
Speaking of Echo. Alan Rubin, as you all know, I don't really do much. But I am curious about something. How many of you enjoy live theater? How many of you enjoy live theater? How many of you enjoy the visual arts? How many of you have eaten at a restaurant in Evergreen? Then you should know something very important. Among other things, I'm vice president of the Evergreen Creative District. And we are in the process of attempting to be certified by Colorado Creative Industries, which would allow for a large amount of grant funds to funnel into the Evergreen area. But we need letters of support to convince CCI that we're a vital and valid part of the Evergreen community. So if you're a business owner, I would appreciate it if you'd write a letter of support, supporting the creation of the creative district. Is that redundant? If you are an artist, I would appreciate a letter of support, recognizing how important creativity is to the quality of life here in Evergreen. If you need further details or would like to see a sample letter, happy to provide that. Just let me know. Thank you.
Good morning. Richard Ayler. I am in charge of the Echo Food Drive once a month. So just a reminder, since we're dark next week, I will be making collections 2 weeks from today instead. So thank you all in advance for bringing all your donations. And also, some of you have given me gift cards instead. And that's been wonderful. Last month, we had $150 worth of gift cards to give to Echo. So if you don't have time to shop and you're just in the grocery store line and want to pick up a gift card either from Safeway, King Soopers, or Walmart, pick one up and give it to me and I'll give it to Echo. And then they do their own shopping and they love that because then they can go and get what they need. So bring your food or other items 2 weeks from today or a gift card to the Echo Food Drive. Thank you so much.
Good morning, Rita Carver. I have 2 quick announcements. On your table, there is a flyer or a description for our book club. So Rotary Book Club is going to meet on Tuesday, May 6th. Our book is James by Percival Everett. And the characters in the book are pretty much like in Hudson, if you remember, which I read probably a few years ago. It's really a great book, and it's told from the viewpoint of Jim the slave. So hopefully you'll read that and come to our book club. It'll be at my house, and Jen Vollmer is going to be our illustrious leader. So it'll be really fun, food, drink, and book discussion. And also on your table is some information about Dine Around. And usually I just send out an email, which you will get next week. But we have so many new members, so I want to just briefly talk about Dine Around. It's really a fun evening. You just respond to my email. I'll put you in a fun group, and it only takes a couple of hours. It's really a good opportunity just to spend a couple hours with different Rotarians and visit, get to know them a little bit better. So hope you'll sign up. It's really fun. If you have any questions, just email me or give me a call.
Good morning, Rotary. So today is D-Day for the home show. We start our load in and so forth today. We still could use some volunteers, but I'll tell you, this group has really been responsive. You've really done a great job of signing up, and we're in decent shape. But if you've got even a couple of hours this afternoon, load in is one of the places where we get some congestion. If we could get some extra help there, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, David. 3:45 we start, right? Yeah. And then I think we're good for Saturday, and then on Sunday, if we could ask for a little help in terms of the tear down. Again, it's kind of everybody wants to get out at once, and if you could help out there, that would be great. Oh,
3 o'clock on Sunday.
Right.
Where is the home?
Thank you. Evergreen High School, sorry, and of course, it's this Saturday and Sunday. The times are 10 to 4 tomorrow and 10 to 3 on Sunday. All right, thank you.
And I want to give a huge kudos to Dave. He has done all of the.
Recommendation for parking
To,
at the high school. Should we just go back lot, front lot?
you can park either place. For the vendors, I know there's a couple vendors in here. Depending on where you're on the map, you can load in the back or load in the front. So yeah, but for parking, if you're just coming to the show, you can go in the front. You'll be fine. They kind of come around. So if you park in their in the high school big parking lot, you'll be fine as they're loading and unloading. So thank you for the questions. Okay. Yep.
Well, good morning, Evergreen Rotary. For those who might not know me, I'm Peyton Thomas, the Director of Speakers for Africa, and I just returned back from Uganda after being there for a couple months. And I just want to say, first of all, I'm very thankful to be back and report that your not only just your finances, but your mentorship, your help completed a pit latrine project for a school in the west of Uganda. It is finished. That will service 350 kids plus a church. They recommend, or they estimate for about 20 years. It's a 50-meter deep pit. It is complete. It looks great. It was commemorated by the Honorable Kajwenje, who is the district honorable member of parliament. And so they're very happy about it. And it's opened up us a lot of opportunities for more. I certainly learned a lot. And this particular flag, I have one from the district that the pit latrine's in. I just got in. So this is the one I have on me. This is from the Sese Islands, which is a group of islands in Lake Victoria. So it's Kalangala. It's one of my favorite places. They were also doing a pit latrine project sponsored by a Rotary out of Pittsburgh. And so I learned a lot about how they did it. And met with other Rotarians and Rotaries. And so I'm just grateful to be a part of this organization and just the advice and what I learned from it. So I just hope to do more, and I'm proud to present this from my country of Uganda.
Thanks, Peyton. And if you don't follow Peyton on, I guess, I'm on Facebook, I'm old school, but Instagram, I'm sure you're on that too. He had some great videos, great pictures, and so thank you so much for, yeah, that's awesome. All righty, one thing, we do have cards. I got you, Lori. So as we know, last week, Lori reported that Cindy Latham is actually moving to California. And thank you, Lori, for taking over Wildfire Ready. I don't know anybody else that could take over and do what you're gonna do. So Lori did bring some cards just to say thank you to Cindy for all of her efforts and what she's done with this project and just being part of our Rotary Club. So they're on the front table as you leave. If you guys don't mind signing them, that would be great. We have 2 cards. We are dark next week. It is Good Friday, so please don't come to Rotary. And next Friday it's Jen's birthday, so if you want. So happy birthday since we're not having a meeting. Okay, we're ready for our speaker. Excited to hear what you have going on, Wes.
Here, let me introduce you first.
Sure.
Let me say something wonderful about you first. Many of you already know one of our speakers this morning. We are very fortunate to have 2 gentlemen come to speak to us about just Jefferson County School District. They have a lot to say, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on introductions, but Wes Paxton has been involved in our community for many, many years. He's also been the president of Conifer Rotary for years and is involved in a myriad of ways, including Outdoor Lab and many other foundation boards. So Wes is going to talk to us. He is the community superintendent, and I knew I'd get that wrong, of Jefferson School District. So he's going to tell us about all what's going on with all the different programs. Jeff Gatlin is the COO, so he's going to tell us all about the facilities and, you know, all the different schools that are being changed and moved around the facilities. It's a very complicated situation. So he asked me to remind you, because everybody's going to ask, that he's 6'9". So then you don't need to bother him with that question, okay? All right, Wes, you're going to start us off. Please welcome Wes Paxton.
Thank you. I will tell you, normally I'm the tallest person presenting, but not today. Was honored to be with you all, friends, and some of my neighbors. I do want to do 2 announcements if I could. This weekend at the Foothills Home and Garden Show, the Conifer United Club will be selling plants. So please help them raise some money. It's for the, hey, Michelle, how are you? Yeah, we are raising money for the Children's Hospital. The money they raise this weekend buys Lego sets for the patients when they're recovering from surgery to build something while they're doing that. And they have to be something that's sanitized, and the Legos are always sanitized in the packages before you open them. So it's a great way to help those kids as they recover. And also mark your calendar, July 12th will be the Conifer Fest at Our Lady of the Pines Church. So please join us for some music, some food and beverages, and see some friendly faces, and just enjoy the summertime there at in the Conifer area. All right, so as I've said, I'm a community superintendent, and I'm going to do some quick introduction or presentation of our mountain schools. First, I'll start with our elected members. We have President Mary Parker, Paula Reed, Erin Kinworthy, Daniel Barda, and Michelle Applegate. These are the folks that you elect to run the school district. And they have one employee, that's the superintendent, Tracy Dorland. And she is very involved in our schools and making sure that our students are getting the best education possible, especially with some dynamic changes, which Jeff and I will share with you as we do the presentation today. Our 2 representatives are Mary Parker for the Conifer area, and Erin Kinworthy is the one that covers the Evergreen. So if you're looking for someone to reach out to. This is a little bit about me. Just to remind folks, I was the principal at Conifer High School for almost, I was moved to this position during the early part of my 10th year. So I've been 9+ years, 33 years in education. Case president, which means I'm the Colorado Association of School Executives. So I work with all the superintendents and principals and district leaders across the state. I'm also the past president for the Colorado Association of Secondary School Principals. I'm with JCA Jefferson County Association of Administrators liaison. I'm also a member of the Jeffco Outdoor Lab Foundation. I'm a Conifer Rotarian past president, and I am the current chair of the foundation. I live in Evergreen Meadows, just down the road here. And I'm a Pioneer family, so on this side of the hill, I'm a Ralston, and on the west side of the hill, I'm a Shelton from Hayden. I'm an avid skier, trail rider, and hiker and traveler. So just a little background on me. These are the schools that I work with. I have 14 schools. I have the Evergreen Articulation K through 12. I have the Evergreen K through 12. I have Denison Devlin. I saw Miss Devlin here. So thank you for your support at the school. And also I have the 2 outdoor labs, Mountain Blue Sky and MVP. So I'm very privileged to have these schools. So my role as a community superintendent is to work with the schools on supporting their instructional practices, helping the principals guide their teachers, and help make sure the schools run well. So I do leadership walks on a regular basis. Typically, I do 2 to 3 schools a day, walking to the school, visiting classrooms, and talking to the principal what they're seeing and how they're going to guide professional development at their schools with their staff. I do principal evaluation, principal selection. This year we have 3 new principals. We have a new principal, Mountain Blue Sky, Becky Paschke. We have a new principal, Parmalee, Molly, I always get pronounced wrong, Randolph. And the new principal of West Jeff Middle School, we have Tanya Lopez to be there. So I do that process with the community. I monitor school performance and continuous improvement. I address community issues, share perception data with the principals, what the community is saying, what the teachers are saying, what the parents are saying, what the students are saying about their experience, oversee the school budgets, and also support professional goals for the principals. So here's some little highlights here. Our school of the mountains continue to outperform the states and the district in performance. We are very privileged to have amazing schools. How many of you have had a child in just Jefferson County? Raise your hand. Awesome. How many, keep your hands raised if you've had a kid go through the Evergreen school system? There you go. Awesome. That's great. Congratulations. As you know, they get a great education up here. We have very competitive clubs, activities and athletic programs among all of our schools. We have outstanding, so let me just say, last weekend I got a chance to take a group of students to Oklahoma, the Evergreen Conifer Robotics team. What an incredible experience. You see these kids build a robot, competes on the national level, and they have to program it. So you have 2 kids, and they're on a computer programming for the competition, work autonomously in a competition, and then a student jumps in and runs a joystick, and they're competing against other robots that are crashing into it, trying to keep it from doing its thing. And I will tell you, in their first round of competition on Saturday night, they beat the high-ranked team in the competition, the regional competition. It was the people at eyes were like, oh my gosh, where's this team come from? Colorado or Oklahoma? Unfortunately, robots sustained some significant damage because there was a lot of defensive moves. Who are athletes know sometimes that's how you do it. So they didn't do too well in the next 2 rounds, but they did really incredible in that first round. I'm privileged to have a lot of community partnerships with our schools and parent involvement, which is great. Here's some things you know that the demographics up here are changing. So you've had kids in our schools, but you still live up here. So there's not a lot of new families moving up into our utopia paradise that we live up here. And so the enrollment in our mountain schools is declining. And unfortunately, it's declining pretty quickly. It's nothing to do with our schools. It's just that there's no place up here for folks to live. And so it's really impacting the Evergreen side more so. We're seeing that the enrollment on the Conifer side is a little more flat, but still in decline. But on the Evergreen side, it's gone through the elementary, it's made its way through the middle school, and now it's impacting our high school, which is really impacting and raising some concerns, which you'll probably know about. And so we're trying to address those things, but it is an issue we're dealing with. And Jeff will jump a little bit more into that later in the presentation too. So getting results of Jeffco Schools, this is overall. These are the visions and values of our school. We want to ensure our students have a thriving experience in all of our schools. We have 4 priorities. Our learners is our future. Our people are our strength. Our operations are our foundation, and our communities are our legacy. And these are the 2024-25 major initiatives. They are to focus on student outcomes and making sure central services support our student outcomes. So making sure there's nothing that interrupts the learning environment or the experience our students have during the school day. So clearly, under the leadership of Superintendent Dorland, we are focused on our students and making sure our students have a really good experience in our schools and prepare them for their future endeavors. Clearly, our PSAT, SAT results show the graduates prepare for college or out of the career pursuits after graduation. That according to Colorado measures of academic success, Jeffco students read, math, and science scores outperform the state averages. And that 108 schools meet or exceed the state expectations of 50 percentile growth in reading and math. 50 percentile growth means they have at least a year's growth. Most of our schools have more than a year's growth in a year's time. And up here in the mountains, I will tell you, that is if you go look at our schools, that's a pride for our schools to have over a year's growth in a year's time, because that means they're accelerating the students as they go through the grade levels. And 13 schools, they were recognized recently. I think we had about 5 or 6 of our schools that had an average growth of 65 percentile or greater on CMAS, PSAT, SAT scores. So clearly, our students do well. Over 95% of the students who graduate from Evergreen and Conifer, that's a 4-year average, that all the students, so 95% of kids who enter as freshmen graduate as seniors. A majority of our students still choose to go to higher education, which means college, but we're starting to see a trend. And it's a trend across all of our schools and across the country. The students are saying, hey, wait a minute. I want to try something different. I'm more interested in maybe getting certification, pursue a career, to get my certification program, or getting interested in earning some licensure program to pursue a career that way. So we're starting to see that kind of change, which is great because we need to have a more of a balanced group of students because they have different interests. You know, people you went to school with, you may have a different interest and you chose not to go to college and pursue a different career. And you're successful with it and it gets good living. So we want to encourage kids to have that opportunity too. We'll talk about that here in a second too. There's some kids from Evergreen High School. All right, so the first thing is safe and welcoming environment. We have, district has 145 safety and security staff at our schools and 35 SROs. I want you to know that our superintendent is so committed to safety and security in our schools because we have a history and knowledge of that impact. So this starting next year, if I'm correct, Jeff, is that we're going to be sharing the cost of SROs. So we can increase the amount of SROs available for our schools. We're going to share the cost of that. So the district's going to take on some of that cost to make sure that our areas have an SRO in close proximity to our schools. School resource officers. Sorry, we talk the acronyms all the time in education, like SRO. School resource officers. They're sheriff's officers in this area, or they're police officers in the municipalities. So we have a campus security structure. One is our organization. We have a dispatch, just like a 911 center for our schools. We have emergency management. So when there is an emergency that happens, and it does unfortunately happen sometimes, we have a system set up, like I have a radio in my backpack. So I'm in immediate contact with sheriff's officers and the district if something happens in one of my schools. I can immediately jump on, find out what's going on and be part of the conversation. We have armed patrol. So our folks are trained through the state process, work with the local agencies, and so they are armed and they do come into our schools and work with our staff. And we also have judicial service and behavior threat management. I work with those folks to make sure the kids who unfortunately make some big mistakes, we help them get an education. That's our priority, but maybe not some of our local schools because it's just not somewhere they should be based on their behavior. And this organization works 24 hours a day. The call center is available all the time. And these are the schools that we cover and the amount of employees that we work with in our schools. All right, so Pride of Jeffco, this talks about their scholarships. We had $10 million in academic scholarships in the last graduation year. And we have some students up here who have reached the National Merit Scholarship, the Daniels Fund Scholarship, and the Fetcher Foundation Scholarship. I work with the Bootstraps Board, and we have some students who they apply for the scholarships to the Bootstrap, but then we found out they got these major scholarships too. Like, wow, what an impressive group of students that we have. And so I'm excited to see them at graduation ceremony being recognized for their achievement. We have 50 award-winning schools according to a new US News report. We have, in my articulation, we have Devlin Junior High School, so they are an outstanding school. They're number one, I believe, in the state of Colorado. We have National Blue Ribbon Schools, which is what Evergreen is. And we have 19 Governor Distinguished Improvement Schools and 25 John Irwin Schools of Excellence, which many of our schools up here have achieved that. And we've been a national leader for 50 years in providing students with competitive edge and college readiness, career opportunities. And we also have through our 3 Warren Tech campuses, which is unique here. And we were a pioneer in that. And I will tell you, our board and our superintendent and our cabinet and our district is really looking at how do we start infusing more of those opportunities into our learning experience. We have students who are going to go AP, students who are going to be engineers, who are going to be doctors and so forth. We have some career tech courses that will help them get that experience and leadership opportunity through that. So mixing those two where you get that real world application. Sorry, I see people I know, I gotta wait. So we make sure we get those kids those opportunities. And so these are the 3, and I mentioned this last year when I spoke. Working with our middle school, we have called Magic Middle School. In fact, I was having a conversation with some district leadership regarding this for our outdoor labs. So our 6th graders go up to the 2 outdoor labs. How do we infuse that magic in middle school for the students, given that agency, that leadership opportunity, so they start building that community experience while they're there, so they can take that back with them to their schools. That career connect learning, we talk about Warren Tech and how do we have that in our schools too? How do we provide those opportunities? And high school reimagine, what are those durable skills that will help students get employed after they graduate from high school? I'm going quickly because I got to give time for Jeff and everything else here. So we have, let's see, he talks about we have 14,219 high school students enrolled in Jeffco's career technical education programs. I will tell you that Evergreen and Conifer have the highest percentage of their population of students who are involved in CTE and Warren Tech programming. Because they're so interested in seeing that career exploration, we have that here. 7,295 students are currently enrolled in college classes, collectively earning 42,990 college credits, which equals $7 million in tuition savings. So one of the things that we sometimes don't think about is that kids can take college classes. Wow, whether it's high school. Sometimes maybe the AP gives them that AP experience, but they also can take concurrent through Red Rocks, Arapahoe Community College, and Fred Range Community College. So it allows them to have that college foundation when they go in. And with those AP and concurrent enrollment courses, many of our students, when they enter into college, they enter as sophomores. So they've already earned a lot of their freshman college classes while they're in high school. They enter sophomores, which is incredible. In 2024, 474 students were enrolled in work-based learning courses that include internships, and they're trying to increase this. We want to increase more students. 474 is a lot, but still we want more students involved in those internships. And I think at this point, I'm going to turn it over. Oh, is it still me? All right, so we're going to talk about school funding. This is always a question, and so this talks about how much of our funds go into paying for public education. So you have your local share. It's a fixed tax rate set by the state of Colorado that apply to taxpayers. State law says that Jeffco must certify 25 meals as a local contribution. So that's that picture of money that pays the first schools. That's that portion in Jeffco. Then we have our state share of funding, which is provided by the state, which right now is a lot of flux. If you've read the news, we're trying to figure it out. Fingers crossed. I'm advocating very strongly for our schools. We're going to hold firm that we provide full funding for our schools based on what we're going through right now, because who knows what's going to happen in the near future. And then with mill override is that voter approved additional tax goes straight to Jeffco Public Schools outside of total program. And that's that portion up there. Thank you for your support of our public schools and voting for those funding. It did. That plus our bond money has improved our school facilities, provided teacher pay for helping retain quality teachers. And folks, there are fewer teachers in the pipeline for education. So retaining teachers is essential to our success. I'm fortunate that my schools up here have very little turnover. But I will tell you, when teacher positions come open, I steal from other folks. Because the pipeline of educators does not have the amount of teachers coming out of education programs that our schools need. So fortunately, we can still people, but it's unfortunate that has to happen because we just don't have enough teachers. And so a lot of folks are entering the education through alternative approaches, which is fine because having that professional experience and bringing it to the classroom, it's a great thing for students to go, oh, so you're an accountant and you teach math for us now. Well, tell me what that's about. And they can tell them what it was like being an accountant before they entered the field of education. So one of the things that's also thing is that the more share of local funds that we put into our school system, the state also just goes last night. So you look at our rich districts like Aspen actually pays the state, my understanding is, because they get more than what they get from, they get more local funding than they get from the state. So those are examples where it gets too much, and then the reverse happens. All right, so here is our membership pre-K through 12. You will notice something on that graph. And so we're starting to see a decline. This is nationwide. It's not just here in Colorado or just in Jefferson County. We're starting to see a drop in student enrollment in our schools, and which is forcing some changes and some closures, which are always not a pleasant thing to go through, but it's a reality of making sure our schools work efficiently. And we are fortunate to have full funding of our schools up here, and they are regional schools, and the district's committed to making sure they're maintained because it's a long drive between our schools. And so we try to do the best we can supporting them, even with the small enrollment at our schools. So there's no concerns there, but it is an issue we're facing across the foothills community and across the district. And here's a little bit more of that difference that you see in 2013, 2014, the divide between the kids coming in as kindergartners and the ones that are graduating. And now you're starting to see this larger difference, and that's what we're seeing here in the Evergreen community, is the kids are coming. So in my case here, the 8th graders going into Evergreen High School is much smaller than seniors who are graduating. And when you lose about 70, 80 students, that means there has to be some reductions. So yes, Evergreen High School has gone through some reductions lately, which has impacted it. And it's not going to just happen this year, it's going to happen for the next few years. And so you jump in. All right. There you go. Sorry to end on a little sad, slow note back there. Sure.
Thank you for having Wes and I here this morning. We really appreciate it. I have just a little bit of time, so I'm going to go through this at a pretty high level. At the end, though, I'm going to provide a link, a QR code, access to more information, and I can stick around for a few minutes too if people have questions. Just quickly too, a little bit about me. I grew up in Colorado. I grew up in Monument, Colorado. Spent 10 years in Woodland Park, Colorado. I taught high school for 5 years. The last 10 years I spent in the Western Slope in the Roaring Fork School District, and then moved to Jeffco about 2 years ago. So I'm almost at my 2-year mark with Jeffco. And like Wes said, our enrollment and our demographics are changing. And part of what I'm responsible for is ensuring that our resources are following our students and where they are. And part of that is making sure that facilities that we're not using anymore, we're putting through our property disposition process. And we've put 5 properties through our disposition process so far, and our board recently voted and approved the surplus, which is really the first step in the process of 4 properties, all in unincorporated Jefferson County. So that's kind of the theme with these properties. 2 in particular that I know will be of interest to this group are the Bergen Meadow, what was the Bergen Meadow Primary School in this articulation area. And then we have a tract of vacant land that's just south of Marshdale and north of Conifer. There was never a school site there. It was part of a land dedication for a development, but we're looking to put that through our process as well. And just FYI too, there were 2 other previously run schools, Colorado Elementary School in the Dakota Ridge articulation area, and Piper Elementary School in Bear Creek articulation area. Those are just in unincorporated Jefferson County. And so again, we try to bundle our surplus recommendations to the board by municipality. And these properties are unique that there isn't a true municipality that has jurisdiction, it's the county. So that's kind of the theme with these properties. So as you all know, the Bergen Meadow property is here, about 13 acres. The building size is a little over 50,000 square feet. The zoning of this is an agricultural zoning with the county.
As we grow kids.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, school districts are exempt from the underlying zoning, but that's what's there. And then the vacant land that I mentioned, it's actually 2 contiguous parcels totaling a little over 11 acres. And that has zoning of suburban residential. I believe the 2 is about 2 acre lot size for the underlying zoning for those for that particular parcel. So I want to talk a little bit about our process, and this is a lot. So I'm going to keep it really high level. I apologize. We talked like this might be one of the more complicated things that we do. And we certainly would like to simplify it, but I'm going to keep it really high level. Again, this is all on our website, so you can look at this or spend a little more time going through it. But there's really a few major components I want to call out. That once the board votes to surplus the property, it enters this process. And really the first step of the process is we reach out to the municipality or the jurisdiction and ask if there's an interest in the property. And if there is an interest, it follows another process that I'll show you, but yeah, gonna keep it high level for today. If there is no interest from the jurisdiction or the municipality, it follows this, what looks like an overly complicated process. But the things I wanted to call out are, there is a public information sharing session, if that were to be the case, where we would host a community meeting and we would talk about this. In that, we would also seek out ad hoc members to serve on a committee that kind of follows and guides the process. And really, this is describing essentially an RFI process and an RFP process. We would look to see who's interested in the property, make sure they're qualified, and we look at proposals and then score proposals, get feedback on proposals, and then make a recommendation to our board. And that process for the 5 properties that we put through it has actually worked out pretty well. It's worked out pretty well. And so ways for input in this, the public information sharing session. And we also have resources on our website where you can fill out a form to make sure you're getting communication about where we are in this. Again, you could volunteer to be one of the ad hoc members to be part of the committee that goes through this process. And we're certainly making sure that that is woven throughout the process and that that's understood as we navigate this. Now, I mentioned the very first step in this is gauging municipal or jurisdictional interest in the property. If that happens, then we don't do any of this and we just negotiate with, still a lot. This would be if we reached out to Jefferson County and they said, yeah, we're interested in one of your properties for some use. Then we would meet with them. We would explore what the use is. We try to reach terms. We would host a public information sharing session. And then we would kind of work it through a contract and an agreement process. This wasn't in our process initially. When we first started this, we didn't have a municipal or jurisdictional process, but we realized that that's not an interest of the jurisdictions, it's an interest of the community. And it's aligned to our value of really looking for, is there a public benefit, a community benefit that the property or the building could serve. I know that's a lot high level. You could search Google or whatever search you use, Jeffco property disposition. That's our website with all this information. You can scan this QR code. I'm happy to stick around and answer any questions you may have. But again, really high level. Yes, sir.
That here is volunteer to have more kids. For those listening at home, I said Zach is volunteer to have more kids. But, so we can't make it more affordable for young families to be up here. We can't bus kids up the hill. Wes, what kind of impact are we gonna see? Because I'm already seeing a 10% decline coming up this coming year here at Evergreen. And so what kind of impact is that going to see? And I've been asked to ask you about the theater and the choir.
Sure, yeah. So I will say that in the next few years, which is unusual because Evergreen for a while has been bigger than Conifer in size. It's actually gonna flip-flop here in a few years. It's gonna actually be smaller, Conifer's gonna be smaller. So programmatically, they're already starting to combine. So some of our athletic programs are, you already know, they're starting to be combined. So we have the Evergreen Conifer softball team. We have the Evergreen Conifer boys swimming team. So there's some examples. You're going to start seeing more of that because we want to stay competitive, but we got to make sure that to stay competitive, we combine the two teams to do that. As far as performing arts program, that's a challenge. I've got to work with the boosters, the community to see how we're going to support performing arts, because when you're making cuts, you want to maintain that comprehensive structure where you provide all the activities and programming, electives and things like that that make kids want to come to school, want to be engaged in school. And so that's going to be something we continue to look at doing, because as you make adjustments, things have to be addressed. You can't, the school can't afford to have people like, I'm here, but I don't really have a lot of kids. You have to make sure that it's a balance. And so it's going to be a challenge for us. And so I'm already starting to work with reaching out to Ovation West, working with Mountain Youth Musicals, the venue over in Conifer, Stage Door, say, hey, is there things we can do together to support these students' access to the performing arts too? Yeah.
Oh, I just want to thank you for Warren Tech. My grandson went through the engineering program, got to go to NASA and present, and got to intern at Lockheed Martin.
Yeah.
And is successful now at CU in the engineering school. So thank you so much.
Research shares, thank you for saying that. Research shares that the students have had experience. And one of the things that I'm going to say this phrase here in a second, if the students have that experience early on, then that's the driving motivation for them to go through the hard times when they're in college and doing that work, because they say it's going to be worth it because I've seen what that job looks like and I want to do that job. And so it really drives them. One of the questions we're asking, and I shared this with Michelle a couple weeks ago, is that what job will allow you to provide the lifestyle you want to live in the future? Because a lot of times kids get into jobs and they're like, why am I doing this? What's the lifestyle you want to live? And how is this job going to allow me to do that? Because that's one thing our kids are starting to think. The new generation's like, wait a minute, I like this and that. Is this job going to allow me to have the time to do it? And the money and the living location so I can access it. So we're starting to see a little bit of change in our students thinking, because they've seen us and they're like, ooh, is there something different than that? And so it's going to be a change. It's going to be a change in our students and our dynamics and our demographics as we're seeing. And technology is also in AI and access and things like, wow, what a huge change for their lifestyle. And it was something we're going through ourselves as evolution of technology comes out. Amber, I see you have a microphone in your hand.
2 questions quickly. 1, what drives you crazy about your job? And 2, what gives you hope?
Wow, that's a great question. I think that what drives me crazy is that I don't have all the time I need to address things that come up. Things come so fast. And so a lot of times you're trying to do as things as quickly as you possibly can to address it because of the urgency, the passion behind the concern. So try to make sure I do that. What's the last question? What I love?
What gives you hope?
Oh my gosh. I wish I had a picture of you right now. I was over Bergen Valley Wednesday. We were visiting the preschool classrooms. And I'll tell you what, when you go in those classrooms, and you see those kids and the things they're doing in those classrooms, they were doing a study of water and all the time, what water, gas, solid, liquid, all those things. They're doing that in preschool. And it's so cool. And the kids know, like they've gone home, talked to their parents. And they go, but what about this? What about this? And it's just so great to see those conversations happening. And it inspires me saying, okay, we're gonna be okay. These kids, I will tell you, those who have grandkids or kids your own right now going through school, they're so much smarter than we are. I'm sorry. They are so much smarter than we are. Now, they may have things that drive us all crazy, because, having 800 teenagers at Conifer, and I'm just like, today's really the day you're gonna do that? Well, let's figure out what we're gonna deal with that one. But the thing is, when you talk to them, they've got it dialed in. I mean, really, they do. And they ask those questions like, why are we doing this? Because that's not good enough. Why are we doing this? Why are we learning this? What's this gonna do for me? And we used to say, just sit in your seat, be quiet. Don't ask those questions. But now we're answer those questions. And it's like, wow, why are we doing this? So, yeah, that gives me hope.
So Wes and Jeff, are you guys able to stay?
Yeah, I'm
Later?
fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
because we are at our time.
Yeah.
You have one question?
With private schools over, public schools, is very negative or positive?
Great question. I will tell you, this is a pride of joy in Jeffco. 91% of our students who live in our Jefferson County go to Jeffco Public School. 91%. And the reason why is because we have choice. So the student finds that this type of school environment is not working for them. They go to charter school. They go to Devlin. There's lots of options for them. And we also have AECs. If a student's like, you know what, I've got so much baggage from my life home right now, and it's hard for me to focus, and I've made some mistakes. We have a place where they can go to learn, get that minimum of high school diploma, so they can be productive citizens. So we try to find out where those conditions, so kids, we're in check, what just was mentioned, all the incredible things from flight down Dakota Ridge to the industrial arts at their central location, to law enforcement, our new facility at the old Moore Middle School, law and justice school there. What an incredible opportunity, because we have such a shortage of folks. Teaching is tough, but getting law enforcement people is really a challenge right now. And so having a pipeline for kids from across the district to learn about law and justice at a school that's a high school program is going to be fantastic for the students.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Wes.
Sure.
Thanks, Jeff. And in honor of you speaking, we will donate 60 vials of polio vaccine as we try to eradicate polio in the world. So thank you so much. Okay, Rotarians, I'll see you Saturday and Sunday. Well, make it a great day.